This is just like the richest girl's bachelorette party. Truly nothing has brought our country together more than this stupid Blue Origin space flight with its all-female crew. I don't know what Jeff Bezos was thinking, but he did us a service. I think we should thank him for giving someone on every side of every political aisle something to stare at and go, this was a disaster. So, Blue Origin is the private space company run by Jeff Bezos. It's launched several different flights over the years, I think since 2021. I think in total it's had 58 flights. A couple people have gone up multiple times. And this week, on April 14th, it sent 6 women, including pop singer Katy Perry, what the New York Post is referring to as philanthropist Lauren Sanchez, aka his fiance. Somebody please explain her philanthropist status to me. And reporter Gail King, who's I think best known for being Oprah's best friend, as well as some actual women in STEM, into space, or at least close to space. It's sort of like when you stand on the line of like a state, you don't know which state you're in. Anyways, these women went into space, full blowouts, fitted bodysuits, looking like something that Mattel would have created for Barbie, and declared themselves astronauts, which they are technically not. The internet blew up over this. I really think it gave everyone something to stare at and point and agree. Like, these wealthy elite women have gone too far. So I want to rank the best social media reactions, or at least some of my favorites, to this crazy, I can't really call it a scandal, but to this terrible PR stunt. So let's get into it. So I scraped Instagram Reels for these video reactions. I thought it'd be a little bit easier for those of you who are watching, but I do think we should acknowledge one of the best posts on social media, possibly of all time, from Milo Yiannopoulos. I'll pop it up here. I can't even expand on this. It's so funny. And if you don't know who any of these people are, just Google them. Milo is obviously a sometimes controversial internet figure, but this one was kind of a sick burn. Just a quick note before we get into the video reactions. I want to go over some basic details about the flight. So this is being celebrated as an all-female flight crew. There were 6 women on board. It took off from West Texas on Monday, April 14th. The women, as I mentioned, include pop singer Katy Perry, reporter Gail King, Lauren Sanchez, who is described in some articles as a philanthropist and others as a journalist and author. Sanchez is Bezos' fiance. She's also credited with designing their spacesuits. Then there's 3 women who get less attention. One is Aisha Bowe. She's a former NASA rocket scientist and STEM advocate, according to NPR. There's Amanda Nguyen, who I see sometimes described as a civil rights activist, but she's also listed as a bioastronautics research scientist who advocates for sexual violence and survivors, again, from NPR. Then there's filmmaker Carrie-Anne Flynn, who's apparently always dreamed of going to space. She's also sometimes described as a philanthropist. While these women came back to Earth and declared themselves astronauts, NASA has specifically gone out of its way, and the FAA have gone out of its way to clarify that they are not actually astronauts. The 6 women who went aboard this flight did not actually pilot this flight. It was autonomously flown by a ground crew. I tried really hard to find the names of people on the ground crew who operated this flight, and they are nowhere to be seen. Now, that makes me assume that they're men, and that's why we can't have them be a part of this narrative. If it had been a female operating it, I assume we would have brought her out to celebrate it, although maybe they decided not to because, again, this was such a PR nightmare. It was just universally made fun of abroad. But no one on this flight, despite some of them having a NASA background or a bioastronautics background, no one actually flew the rocket into near space. I'm saying near space because it went up and the women floated in zero gravity, but they came back down. It's not like they went to the moon. They went pretty high, higher than I've ever been, but it was not the space trip like to the International Space Station. The women celebrated this. They talked about how much they've accomplished. They've talked about what it meant to them, but I think it fell really flat for most people, partially because you can reserve a seat on the Blue Origin space flights for like $150,000. Crazy amount of money, but if you're really, really wealthy, you can pay to go to space. That's where we have come to as a society. So I think for a lot of people, this was like a dumb PR stunt. NPR points out that this is the first time there's been an all-female flight crew that's gone to space since the Soviet Union sent the first female astronaut in the 1960s. I don't think that they count. It's more like first female group to ride roller coaster together. You know, like, I don't know that they accomplished anything. And you'll hear that throughout these reactions. They're always talking about what they accomplished because they responded to the hate that they got. Anyways, I think this bothered so many people because it really seemed like a tone-deaf show of elitism. And for feminists especially, there were a lot of feminists that were like, this is cringy and we don't like it. And I'll show you a clip of that. I want to start with what my favorite reaction was. It was this girl that I found on Instagram, and she was ordering something and from Amazon, and Amazon suggested that she, instead of getting it delivered the next day, she go the more carbon neutral route and get it delivered a couple days later.
I know Amazon did not ask me to lower carbon by ordering for something to end up here on Saturday and not Friday. Are you joking me? You just sent a bunch of freaking rich bitches to space. Where's the carbon saving on that? Are you joking, Jeff Bezos? No, I don't want to save any carbon. I want my thing here tomorrow. Thank you very much.
All credit to this girl who made it. I just think it's so funny. I mean, I think she's touching on a really serious point. How can Jeff Bezos' company be like, we're trying to be green, so you should wait and get your thing the next day instead of, you know, now or whatever, the immediate thing that we always offer, and we're going to guilt you with this by saying it's for the environment. Would a company tangentially related to us just sent these ladies on a joyride in space? I mean, there's no way you could tell me that that flight was carbon neutral, but she should get her, like, what, Post-it notes and house decor or whatever she's ordering days later because we care about the environment. Like, I don't know that there is a way to be as committed to traveling to space and committed to the environment. Sometimes I think those things are antithetical. Maybe they don't have to be. Maybe there are ways to make it better. But in this case, you, for fun, sent people up on this 11-minute flight, which the whole thing was 11 minutes. So they were just like floating around up there for a couple minutes and then they came back down. But you should care about the environment. I would be so that's why I think this video is so funny. I mean, I would be furious. Another one of my favorite reactions to social media was this use of this meme from The Office. If you guys haven't watched The Office, there's a character named Stanley. He's the only black person in the office, and then later in the series there's a couple new employees come in and there's one younger black man, and there's this clip of them trying to connect. You have to remember that just a couple weeks ago, we got back the astronauts that NASA and Boeing sent to space in basically a faulty pod that had trouble and couldn't come back. So rather than be there for 8 days, these two astronauts, actual astronauts, who, one man and one woman who was not invited on the Blue Origin flight, they were there for 8 months because they're actual astronauts and were doing stuff. I don't understand. You can also, a couple people have pointed this out, you can see the differences in the kind of gear that they were wearing. The astronauts are wearing more secure suits. The pod that they landed in, the door opens a different way because of the concerns about pressure. Like, when you contrast what they went through with this weird PR stunt, it just makes it so clear that people who are interested in science and compassionate and who want to kind of push these boundaries of human knowledge sacrifice way more than these Instagram famous girls who are trying to just seem like they are doing it for STEM. I mean, the two astronauts who got stuck in space didn't have a tagline, whereas Katy Perry and Gail King are out there saying, we're taking up space. Like, they are equating their journey to the next step of lean in. Do you guys remember when women were told to lean in at the table and become girl bosses or whatever? Anyways, here's this meme. Just classic. I love it. Now, I'm going to give this to you in two parts. Katy Perry, along with all the other women, sat down for a press conference once they came back from space, from their 11 minutes in their Barbie suits up into the sky, I guess. And the thing that I liked about this is just what she said when asked about space. And just brace yourselves.
I hope they can see the unity that we modeled and replicate that and understand that we weren't just taking up space, we were making space for the future. And for me, like Gail said, this wasn't a ride, it wasn't a destination, it was a journey, and it was a supernatural one. And my journey has always been about love and belonging, and I think that we have all felt that sometimes we weren't worthy or we didn't belong in certain ways, no matter all the accolades, no matter all the studying, no matter anything. And I think today we all said it, like, we belong here. Mm-hmm. This is where we belong, and we feel very sure of that. So I think that you'll never know the amount of love that you have inside of you to give and to receive until the day you launch, because you're leaving all the love behind and you're surrendering and you're hoping that you get another chance to love them again. And so when you come back down, you're like, oh, I get another chance and I'm going to do it.
Oh my God, now I'm crying. Okay.
Number one, are we all agreeing that Russell Brand won that breakup? Do you remember when they were married for a second? He's really going on a spiritual enlightened path. He's found Christianity. He seems like he's doing a lot of really positive stuff for people in his community. And in contrast, Katy Perry, who doesn't seem particularly sober to me, although maybe that's just the effects of like the adrenaline come down from coming back from space. What was that? What is she trying to communicate to us other than I am spiritually better than you are and enlightened in ways that you could never be, and I'm humble about it, but also in a way that lets you know that I'm better than you? What? I mean, why they let Katy Perry on this flight is ridiculous to me. Why she's being held up as some sort of ambassador of good morals, I don't know. This whole statement just seems like weird word salad. And I talk professionally for a living. I'm sure there are times I ramble. I'm sure there's times it takes me a long time to get to the point. But you had months to prepare for going to space. You went to your little bounce house in the sky. And this is what you came up with? I just think of all of the real women who work hard in science and are interested in STEM who would have loved to have this opportunity and would probably have actually come back with a profound thought. I just don't think Katy Perry's it. And I think this is kind of ridiculous. Anyways, but then I saw this and it made me laugh.
For me, like Gail said, this wasn't a ride, it wasn't a destination. It was a journey, and it was a supernatural one.
I have probably been that girl in a meeting. I'm not trying to be too annoying about it, but I just... I think the way Katy Perry reacted to it, and, you know, there were clips of her, like, kissing the ground and stuff like that. Like, it's just so performative and trying to be something she's clearly not. I wish she had just owned it and been like, yeah, I made a lot of money and I went to space. It was cool. Stop trying to make this about some deep moral philosophy or anything. You got a blowout. You got your hair and makeup professionally done. You got to put on a fun outfit designed by your friend. You went to space. This is just like the richest girl's bachelorette party, which maybe that's what this kind of was, because Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos are engaged. There were all sorts of rumors about their wedding this December, although they didn't get married. Just own it. Like, you took a pleasure ride to space. You didn't do anything for anybody else. And the fact that you're trying to claim this as like a feminist victory, I have never really liked feminism, so that doesn't hurt me, but it does seem to hurt your own cause. Where is Sunny, the female astronaut who went to space? Why aren't you talking to her? Like, where is the respect for the people who actually are doing stuff? You guys are fun, but this is, like I said, like, it's just a rich girl bachelorette party. And I respect that more, honestly. If they had just been like, yeah, Lauren's getting married, so we're going to space, and, you know, her husband-to-be is paying for it. Like, yeah, okay, that's at least honest. It's kind of horrible in another way, but at least it's honest. But you don't have to take my word for how cringy this was. You can ask the feminists, or at least people that I think identify as feminists. There's this podcast called Pop Apologist. I've never watched it, but I have seen clips from it come up. They go kind of viral every once in a while. And these two women are discussing the flight, and they are like secondhand embarrassed by the way these women acted. Look at this clip.
Ladies in their blue spacesuits looking very snatched, all of them looking hot. Glam is done. hair is herring, and they are standing shoulder to shoulder, arms around each other, and they are looking up at the rocket that is going to take them, for 11 minutes into space. Let's just listen to what they say.
Thank you so much.
We love you.
We love you.
Bring us back safe.
We're so grateful.
We're counting on you.
We're counting on you.
We believe in you too.
Thank you for helping us heal. 3, 2, 1. Taking up space!
This kind of corny. It is so mortifying. Imagine if a group of men went to the rocket before they went on it and did this sort of incantation.
Woo-woo. It's not even woo-woo. It's just corny. It's like Girl Scouts.
We believe in you.
Why are they speaking to the rocket? I don't know.
The rocket is an inanimate object. It can't hear.
Cringe. Cringe is the way they're describing this. And I love their point. Why are these women like talking to the rocket? I don't know why, women who consider themselves sort of, I guess, spiritually enlightened, I don't have another way to describe it, who think that they're doing something big are talking to something that's not alive and well. And again, I go back to, I couldn't actually find the names of the people who really did operate this flight from the ground. Wouldn't you think they would turn to them and say, hey, we're putting our trust in you. We're going up to space in this thing. Like, we want to work together. We're so proud of whatever. Let's give you the time and attention. Instead, they're like, big metal object. We love you. Thank you so much. It just seems so stupid. And the girls in this podcast are like, men wouldn't do that. And maybe that's something we should all take note of, right? Like, why are these women acting like they're talking to a stuffed animal and then going to space and saying they accomplished something? They're not even paying attention. When there was a lot of backlash over this, Lauren Sanchez defended it by saying, effectively, like, I'm proud of what we did, and I would invite anyone to come to Blue Origin and see the thousands of people who work hard on this every day. But no one mentioned those people when we were doing this weird, I don't know, step and turn picture moment, when they were taking their professional portraits and they're out in the desert and they come back down and they're having their press conference. Like, at least I didn't see it. And if you guys know the names, like, please put it in the comments. Let me know, because I think that's probably a very difficult job. And especially, it would kill me if it was an actual female who piloted this thing and she's just gotten totally dropped in the narrative. Again, I think it was a man, but I would love to know who was really operating this, who really worked on this. I think it's kind of sad and pathetic that these celebrity women are saying, look at what we accomplished, look at what we did, and actually ignoring all of the people who made this happen. You think Katy Perry was out there with a, soldering iron or whatever trying to put this thing together? Do you think that Gail King could actually operate this? Do we think that at least Lauren Sanchez designed the uniform. She was sort of actively working on this project. The two women who I feel like I've heard the least from are the two with a STEM background, although it seems like they are sort of related to astrophysics or NASA, but don't actually really do that anymore. Why not? I'd love to know more. I'm not really sure how the filmmaker got on there. Maybe there's a documentary coming. This crew is just so weird to me. And the thing about Blue Origin is that it has flown celebrities before. I mean, William Shatner went up to space, and people have gone back and looked. It's not that, like, celebrities haven't done this before, so it's not even like they're the first celebrities in space. It's just that they decided this was like an all-female flight crew. Except, again, they're not flying it, so they're just passengers. Which, I guess that's brave to take a risk to go up there. Like, I want to have a opposite side take, or like try to be able to see their point of view, but I'm just kind of with the internet on this one. This seems really bad. But okay, to be fair, I'll let one of the ladies defend herself. This is a clip of Gail King.
Never see a male astronaut who's going up in space and they said, oh, he took a ride.
But you did just take a ride. You are not an astronaut. You were not pushing buttons and doing the science and the math. You sat there and took a ride. No one is taking anything away from the actual astronauts.
Two of the astronauts, I still have a hard time calling myself an astronaut, but
Because you're not an astronaut.
And then my question is, have y'all been to space? Have you been to space? Go to space or go to Blue Origin and see what they do and how they do. And
I'm sorry, we're too poor to go to space.
This haters gonna hate response really fell flat. I don't think anyone is looking at them and saying, wow, you guys did such a good job. So many young girls are now gonna want to go to space because of what, the spandex spacesuit? Didn't Barbie already go to space? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think in some ways, Gail King's response to it is encapsulate how much they are trying to say that this wasn't just a pleasure trip. They did it for the greater good. They did it for womankind. They did it for science or STEM or whatever. We all know that's not true. They did it for fun, and they should just own that. I think that would be better. I think people would have more respect if they were just like, we did it because we could, and that's good enough. Instead, it has to be about something bigger, and that actually cheapens any kind of effort to make, you know, women in science more visible or whatever those kinds of talking points are meant to prop up. It's not good. And again, I'm just glad the internet had a chance to respond to this. Before we wrap up, I'm going to play one of my favorite videos as well. I just think we should never let this go. I know it's early in the year, but I hope we are still talking about how weird and misguided and stupid this PR stunt was till the end of time, because we got art like this out of it.
Space for a joyride actually doesn't have a lot to do with Wendy's going viral saying, can we send Katy Perry back to space? It has everything to do with the internet comedians who are now coming forward. This guy said, if going to space for 3 minutes makes you an astronaut, then I'm a gynecologist. It just keeps getting better. I blew out a candle. It's hard being a firefighter. Or how about hooked up my own Wi-Fi? Hashtag women in STEM. My personal favorite is, I've created life 3 times. I am Mother Earth.
Is it you? Oh my God. How is space? Oh my God. You are in space. You are in the space between those 2 buildings.
Anyways, that's all for me. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you guys so much also for all the well wishes. Baby is here. Baby's doing great. I feel incredibly lucky. And maybe one day I'll do a whole, you know, here's my labor story, because I just really felt like, you know, it was an incredible experience. I'm so grateful that I was able to have a healthy child. I know so many people can't. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. You can follow me on X, Hannah Claire B. You could also follow this channel on other platforms. Again, it's Hannah Claire B. Might do a call and see what you guys want to see for videos on X this week, or else you can drop ideas in the comments. I'm kind of balancing like 1 video a week right now, and I'm off from Quartercast this month, again, just because of the baby, but I'll be back in full force and try and ramp up as much as possible. Thanks for bearing with me. Let me know if you see any better Blue Origin related reactions on social media. Bye guys.